For a lot of beginners on YouTube, it can really feel like you're navigating through a foreign landscape. There's so many things that you need to learn about, including YouTube statistics, SEO, and filming setups. And while it's absolutely normal to make mistakes when you're first starting out, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in this video, I do think there's a few particular mistakes that you should avoid if you're a beginner on YouTube. And some of the mistakes we're going to be talking about aren't always front of mind for beginners. But if you're new here, my name is Kaylee, and I'm a beauty and fashion photographer based near Sydney, Australia. But I'm also a content creator, and I started this channel a few years ago to talk about all things business, social media, freelancing, and content creation. And as I already mentioned, we're going to be talking about some of the mistakes that beginner YouTubers make. Now, just for a bit of background on myself, I've been running a YouTube channel for nearly 10 years now over at Kaylee June Photography. And as the title suggests, it's basically a photography and retouching channel. So I've done many tutorials over the years. And when I first started YouTube, I had no idea what I was doing. Even as a photographer, I had no idea how to film content. I was not very experienced with video at all. I was painfully shy, also having a lot of social anxiety. So I was very quiet. I was a quiet person. I found it very difficult to get in front of a camera or talk to a camera. So this was definitely an environment that I was not used to stepping into. So having been there as a beginner myself, I have definitely experienced a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about today firsthand. And we're also going to go through some just general observations that I've had of other beginner YouTubers and certain things that will come up, I'm sure, if you're starting a YouTube channel this year or you're thinking about it. A lot of these points will probably cross your path at some stage. But without further rambling, let's get into the video. The first mistake I'm going to mention today is being a perfectionist. I feel a lot of beginner YouTubers are absolutely perfectionists in the beginning. And really, as creatives, I think we can experience this a lot in our careers, and it can really be to do with anything that we're producing. Perfectionism, though, is absolutely going to hold you back if you want a successful YouTube channel. And there's a few reasons for this, and it's, again, something that I've experienced firsthand. I feel like we all have that feeling from time to time where things just need to be perfect, and they really don't. And this perfectionism can kind of manifest itself into different areas. So whether that's the gear that you're using to film your YouTube videos and you're not ready to get started because you want a better camera, or you don't want to post a video because it's got slightly choppy audio. It could be to do with the way that you present yourself on camera, so with the way that you look or you're speaking. You may be really ruthless when it comes to how you're appearing on screen. I think in this instance, for most of my videos these days, I like to kind of think of it as the 80-20 rule. And this 80-20 rule that I'm about to speak about is pretty common within the creative industry. I think a lot of people have kind of adhered to this rule because it's something that's really going to save you from that perfectionism. So if you can really look at your videos in particular as being at least 80% of the way there, and that 20% of the video is maybe not where you want it to be, sure, you're going to have things go wrong from time to time. You're going to have audio slip-ups. You're going to have to use equipment in the beginning that maybe you would rather not use. But I think the most important thing is getting started, and all of these extra little things in the end don't really matter that much. You can go and upgrade to a $3,000 camera, or you can plan out a YouTube video for 8 years before you post it. But I think there's always going to be issues alongside the ones that you're probably already focusing on, whether it's the same ones or not. I think there's always going to be something that's not perfect with a video anyway. So you may as well set your standards to that 80-20 rule and really just look at your YouTube videos, and if you feel that they're at least 80% of the way there, then that should be good enough, and then post. Because if you're always looking for that 100%, it's probably something you're not going to achieve. I'm a firm believer in there's no such thing as perfection, and it absolutely rings true for YouTube videos. The next mistake that I've seen a lot of beginner YouTubers making is actually forgetting about the titles of the videos and the thumbnails of the videos too. I can't stress how actually important this is to find flow with your titles and thumbnails, because this is something that I never focused on for the first 7 or 8 years of my YouTube career. I just never even gave it a second thought. The titles and the thumbnails would be single-handedly some of the most important things to remember when you're posting YouTube videos. This is your only entry point for a potential audience. So really thinking about these things even before you've made the video really should be a strategy that you implement. And it's something that, like I said, I've only started doing in the last year or two, and I can't believe the turnaround in my videos and the way that YouTube has then recommended them, and just the general statistics of it all. Because when I look back to a lot of my videos on my photography channel, I didn't really have that effect, unfortunately. I focused a lot more more on the next point that we're actually going to be speaking about instead, and I didn't really look at titles and thumbnails as being something that would be super important. However, now I realize that that's absolutely not the case. That is something that you should be focusing on more than anything else. And it is something that I've really tried to get myself in the habit of doing, is before I actually come up with video ideas, I actually think of title ideas for a video. I think about a title of a video that someone would want to click on, or a thumbnail even. And that really sets a good point for the whole video, because at least I know that that is kind of done and I've got really good direction for that video overall. So don't leave thumbnails and titles as an afterthought. Definitely start thinking about this at the same time you're planning your videos, or even beforehand. I think the best trick, even with thumbnails in particular, is to kind of find a bit of flow with them. So really look at what's working with your audience, of course, and there's always going to be a bit of trial and error with thumbnails and titles for that matter. But it's good to start making thumbnails that have good flow, in the sense that your branding sort of follows through with it. And when people see your thumbnails come up on browse features, for example, they can immediately look at that thumbnail and know that's from your channel. I think it can be a really successful thing with returning subscribers, but also for new people who maybe have watched a couple of videos of yours before, but they haven't subscribed. And once they see thumbnails continuously popping up in their browse features, they might be more interested in what you have to say and what your videos are all about. The next mistake is another one that I have experienced firsthand, and it is focusing too much on SEO. SEO was something, again, that I focused on for a long time before I realized that there were probably more important things to focus on. I based all of my videos around SEO friendly content, so it was always how to do this, and all of my tutorials were always so structured and based around good SEO titles. And I think about it now and I'm like, it was a good idea in a sense, because a lot of my videos got onto search, which was great, because although my videos didn't necessarily do well at first, when they actually got onto search, they would start to do well, and they would do well for a long time. I'm talking quite a number of years. And that would actually not only help my revenue, but it would also help my viewership along the way. Having said that, I definitely didn't have a good combination of SEO and those other things that I've already talked about, for example, the titles and thumbnails. So I was really missing out on growing my audience in a better way, and really getting YouTube to recommend my content into browse features and reach a new audience. Search can be great and tutorials can be great, but I think it's good to have a mix of content on your channel, so that's not all your channel is focused on. It's great that people can actually find your channel with search, but at the same time, you want people to be able to click on your videos, because if they don't click on your videos, then you're not getting any benefit whatsoever. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're really focusing on a lot of SEO, try to pare it back a little bit and really focus on the titles and thumbnails instead. The fourth mistake is not creating a posting schedule that works for you. This happens all too often with beginners, and again, I've had my own issues with this over the years, but it's definitely something I have been working on in the past couple of years. And why I think it's such a common mistake is that a lot of beginners go to YouTube for advice on how to grow their audience, and they'll be watching videos and tutorials in general that are telling them to post more than 2 or 3 times a week to grow their channels. This is a very common piece of advice that has been many times shared around YouTube and from guru to guru, and it seems to be something that for a lot of people is commonplace. Post more than 3 times a week on your YouTube channel and you'll grow it. I have many issues with this, and one of the things that I have a real issue with is the fact that this kind of a schedule can really burn people out very quickly. Most beginner YouTubers are not going to be content creators full time. You may still be working a full-time job. You might have a lot of other commitments going on. You may not have that flexibility of work. So to fit in filming 3 videos or more into your current schedule with whatever work that you do have going on can be a really, really difficult task. And it can be a really big cause of burnout. I feel that for a lot of beginner YouTubers, they do go hard when they first start their YouTube channel, and they'll start posting quite a lot of content. Some people do daily content, some people do weekly content, and they might be doing 2, 3, 4 videos a week. And then it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle where they'll have these spurts of doing so much content, and then they'll get exhausted, or they'll have other commitments that they need to attend to, and then suddenly they haven't posted for a month on YouTube, and then it's kind of like playing into a guilt trip of themselves and feeling bad because they haven't stuck with their schedule. And as I mentioned, it is a vicious cycle that way. And then also when this happens, and if you're not growing, it can be vicious in the sense that you're looking at your work and thinking like, I've put all this hard work into posting so many videos per week, why is no one watching my content? Instead of just maybe taking a step back and looking at a schedule that really does work in with your lifestyle. I personally think if you are a beginner YouTuber, even if you can only manage 1 video a month, pour all of your energy into that 1 video. Don't feel the need to post so many times a week if you really don't think it's going to be beneficial for yourself, which personally I don't don't really think it's that beneficial when you're first starting out. I think it's really just important to get started and to work to a schedule that works for you. So make sure you're not going too hard when you first start out on YouTube, because it can really take the joy away from YouTube, and unfortunately it can lead to burnout very quickly. And then the last mistake that I'm going to talk about today is that some beginner YouTubers are in it for the wrong reasons. And this can happen with any career on planet Earth, but at the same time, I want to go through just a few things here as to why you might be doing it for the wrong reasons. And this can be along with just wanting to get AdSense, just wanting to make money off of AdSense, which, let me tell you, AdSense does not pay an incredible amount, especially when you are just starting out. And the thing is, you have to meet that target of 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers anyway these days. So it can be a bit of a slog just trying to get that milestone out of the way. So even working towards that milestone, you need to have that knowledge that this isn't going to all happen overnight, and AdSense is not necessarily going to be the pinnacle of your YouTube career. I think some people as well get involved with the wrong niches, and this could be because they want to make more money off of it, or they think that it's just another easy way to make money online. And let me tell you, YouTube is definitely not a get rich quick scheme, unfortunately, and you can spend 10 years on here and still not make enough from YouTube by itself to run a sustainable business. So I would definitely never just get into YouTube for the money or because I thought it was easy. I think at the core of it, most beginners really need to have some sort of a love for YouTube. Now, whether that's in the filming and production of the videos, maybe it's talking to the camera, maybe it's the niche that they're so passionate about that they want to share with the world, there definitely should be some aspect of love for the craft, because this is something that you could be working at for a really long time. And to make it sustainable for yourself and to really build yourself a base on YouTube, you have to realize that it is a slow going process for the most part, and things are not going to happen overnight. So try not to get into YouTube for the wrong reasons, and make sure that if you are starting a YouTube channel, take note of what you really love about it and what brings you joy from it, because it's something that can kind of propel you further into your YouTube career. And it's something you can always remember if you're feeling a bit down one week and your channel's not really going anywhere, or it's not growing at any point. You can really go back to what you love about YouTube and what you love about your niches that you are sharing with the world, because at the core of it, that really needs to be there. Otherwise, it's far too easy for a lot of people to give up in the process. So I hope you really enjoyed this video today, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, make sure you do, because I'll be posting a lot more in future. Let me know down in the comments section below what mistakes you think beginner YouTubers are making, because I'd love to hear your opinion as well. But thank you so much as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.